ॐ ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Dakshinamurthy Stotram is truly a masterpiece composition by Adi Shankaracharya. It is a stuti, that is a stuti in which Acharya expresses his intense bhakti towards his guru, whom he sees as none other than Dakshinamurthy. And it is also a Prakarana Grantha, a text which unfolds the essence of Vedanta. The whole vision of Upanishads is here, and the Tattvamasi Mahavakyam is unfolded in 10 brilliant compacted verses. So, Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Unto that Dakshinamurti, who is endowed with Shri. Shri stands for Mahamaya, Parashakti, and who's none other than my Guru. Tasmai Idam Namaha. Namaskaras. Now, Dakshinamurti is a unique avatara of Shiva Parameshwara and has a special purpose. The purpose is to protect the Nivritti Dharma and to bless the Mumukshus with Atma Jnanam. And this form is beautifully described in the Sutta Samhita portion of the Skanda Purana. There is the description of the youthful yogi seated at the base of the Vatavriksha banyan tree in Virasana. And the hair is adorned with a crescent moon, and Gangaji is streaming forth from the locks. And the right foot is pressing down upon this demon-like figure called Apasmara, who stands for the monster-like avidya in us. And this youthful figure is at the base of the banyan tree. The Vatavriksha represents the vast and endless samsara vrikshaha, na adihi na antaha, the power of Maya. Then who else is there? At the base of the Vatavriksha, we see the Shishyas. The Shishyas are the elderly sages, Sanakadi Sanatkumara's mind-born sons of Brahmadev, the creator himself. Now, they did not want to assist their father in the Srishti Karyam and go along the Pravritti Marga, so they want the Nivritti Marga. And so they seek refuge at the feet of Dakshinamurti, and they are praying, Hey Ishvara, you are Dakshina Abhimukha. You are facing south. And the south stands for mortality, the time-bound worldly existence, the samsara bhayam, and bhavarogaha. So please bless us with the Atma Jnanam. And also you are facing south. Yeah, and you are Dakshaha. Dakshaha means Dakshin, the one who has Dakshata, the Samarthyam to perform the cosmic functions effortlessly. And so you are the one who can bless us to come out of this samsara chakram. So this is the prayer of the Shishyas, who are Uttama Adhikaris, Mumukshus, who are seeking none other than the blessing of Atmajnana. Then how does Dakshinamurti, bless them? Mauna Vyakhya. Silently, Dakshinamurti is showing the Chin Mudra. Now, the Chin Mudra is also known as the Jnana Mudra because it signifies the Jiva Ishvara Aikya Jnana. But the silent teaching has another meaning. And that meaning is that the teaching cannot be given in the form of Vachyartha, but Lakshyartha. So the Guru will teach in the language of negation, using prakriyas like Neti Neti to point out that Atma Tattvam. So this is how Dakshinamurthi, seated at the base of the Vatavriksha, blesses these mumukshus who are seeking this knowledge. And so in this Stotram, Shankaracharya unfolds the whole vision of Vedanta in 10 verses, brilliant verses, and each verse has a theme. One will have Tvampadam as a theme, or Tatpadam, or the power of Maya. Then finally, at the end, Acharya says that the one who chants the Dakshinamurti Stotram and does Shravana Manana Nididhyasnam, dwelling upon its meaning, will surely gain the Jnana Phalam as Sarvatma. Sarvatma Tattvam. What is Sarvatma Tattvam? In Puja Swamiji's words, it is the understanding that there is nothing other than Ishvara. All that is here is Ishvaraha. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. So the Guru says that you are not one of the countless insignificant struggling jivas in the vast Jagat, but you are the center. The center and the whole Jagat is borrowing sentience from you. You are the light. You light up the whole universe, and the whole Jagat Anubhati shines after you. And you are the Veta, you are the knower. And everything else, the whole Jagat, is known to you as one vast Kshetram. So this is the glory of this Stotram, and which is unfolded in the 10 verses. And so Shankaracharya says that this Atma Jnanam is Moksha Phalam, and this is the goal and the purpose of the whole Jiva Yatra. This is the destination. Just like every river, what is the goal of every river is to merge with the ocean. And so the goal of the human life, the purpose is the goal of Atma Jnanam. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Om Tat Sat. Over to you, Chitra.
Om Amma Namaskaram. Dakshinamurti Dhyanam. Maunavyakhya prakatita parabrahma tattvam yuvanam varshishthante vasadrishikanai avratam brahmanishthaihi आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्तरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषन्नं सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात् त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवं जनन मरण दुःखच्छेददक्षं नमामि चित्रं वडतरोर्मूले वृत्ता शिष्या गुरुर्युवा पुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्न संशयाः निधये सर्वविद्यानां विषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ॐ नमः प्रणवार्ताय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः धन्यवादः
Shall I start, Amma?
Please start.
Can we start?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody start on your own, okay? One by one.
Just one brief 2 lines I'll say, then I'll start my portion. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. We were all blessed to learned this Dakshinamurthy Stotram in the serene surroundings of Chidbhavananda Ashram, and Amma's crystal clear explanations with constant recaps also made it very easy, and we could understand and assimilate to some extent. And whatever we have understood, we are going to present today. Along with participants, Shubha and Niharika are also joining today because they were regularly attending the online classes. So they are also included in today's presentation.
And
Okay.
Chitra also.
Chitra also attends. Okay. So I am going to start with the first sloka. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari turyam nijantargatam pashyanatmani mayaya bahivod bhutayatha nidraya yasachat kurute prabodha samaye swatmanamevadvayam tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye namaidam Dakshinamurthaye. The first verse of Dakshinamurti Stotram is so poetic and very profound. It gives the entire essence of Vedanta in this one shloka itself. Acharya is trying to remove all our erroneous notions about Atma and Anatma through this verse. And he points out what is Satyam, what is Mithya, and finally leading us to the Mahavakya. So he takes up two brilliant examples. One is Darpana and Swapana, the mirror and dreams. The first example is mirror. He says, Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam. That is the street, the big, you can imagine a big mirror. A big street or part of a city is reflected in that mirror. You see the buildings, the people, everything in that mirror. In Acharya's days, the movie screen was not available. Otherwise, he would have taken that. Nowadays, we take movie screen examples. So this mirror is reflecting, but everything, what is reflected, the whole reflection is inside the mirror only. Whatever is reflected is inside the mirror. And why do reflection takes place? Because of the mirror. No mirror, no reflection. So the mirror is the adhara, the adhishtanam for the reflection. So reflection is dependent on the mirror. It has a dependent existence. So it is a borrowed existence. Therefore, the reflection is mithya. And we take the mirror to be satyam. And what about the reflection? Is it real? It is not real. How do we know that? If the mirror reflects a fire, does it become hot? If it reflects a rain, does it become wet? So whatever is happening in the anatma, nothing happens to the sattvastu. It is not real. Then the one important subtle statement Acharya is making, Vishwam is nijandargatam. That is, he says everything, whatever world we see, it is within us. What do we think? The world is outside. But Vedanta says the opposite. Whatever we see, the world is only within us. How do we interpret this? See, for example, we take this pen. What do we see? The pen is actually obviously outside. We see only the color of the pen, the form of the pen. But how do we understand it is a pen? It is through the pen vritti in our mind. It happens in our mind. The understanding, the recognition, the interpretation, the conclusion, everything happens in our mind only. A child cannot interpret that because that vritti is not there in the child's mind. So Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, everything in the Pancha Bhautika Jagat, they are all brought to our mind, projected and perceived in our mind only. Why? Because illuminated by the Atma. That is how we understand. Nothing is perceived directly. We only create that experience, that world is outside. So the end, it is due to The seamless experience which we have of seeing the world outside is because of illusion or maya. This is difficult to understand, but this is what Acharya wants to convey. So the entire Jagat which is within us, it is like a reflection in the mirror. It has a dependent entity. So the Jagat is also Mithya. It is depending on the Atma, the consciousness, which is Satya. Then Acharya proceeds to the second example to consolidate this concept. He says, Yata Nidraya. Nidraya here refers to Swapna. When we dream, or we get dream only when we are sleeping. So at that time also we feel the dreams are outside. We think that dreams are real. While sleeping, dreams seem to be real. Dreams are outside, subject-object division is there. That is also due to that opinion. Is also because of Nidra Maya. In reality, dreams are also within us only. Pashyan Atmani. They are also Nijantar Gatam, inside only. Dreams happen when we sleep as projection. So the dream mind only gives reality to the dream. So no mind, no dream. So dreams also have a dependent entity. So dreams are also mithya, not real. Again, we can easily prove dreams are not real. Whatever happened in last night's dream, that is not going to affect me when I wake up. Maybe I got trapped in a fire accident in the dream. When I wake up, there is nothing has happened to my body. So the dreams are also not real. So, but even when we wake, the dream world is negated in the waking world. The waking world gets negated in the dream world. And both worlds are negated in the deep sleep. Why? Because there is no mind. Mind is switched off in that. So once we wake up, what happens? The entire dream world gets negated. It gets resolved into our mind. So we have to understand what was in the dream was only I. That is, the consciousness was there. But even after we wake up, we have to understand still we are spiritually asleep. We have to understand the waking world is also like a dirgha swapna. So experiencing the waking world only leads to samsara. So Acharya says, Prabodha samaye swatmanam eva advayam. When we realize the world is within, that means we are waking up to the higher reality, paramarthika reality. We become super waker. So then we will understand I am the Atma. That is my true nature. We will understand. Once we wake up to the super reality only, we will understand. So I am like that mirror, which is like where the whole universe is within me, like a reflection. I support the entire universe. The world is in me, connected to me, and it is grounded in me. So who is teaching all these to us? Dakshinamurthy. Dakshinamurthy is giving us this knowledge. Dakshinamurthy manifests as our own guru and gives this knowledge that I am Brahmasmi and I am not this limited Jiva. My salutations to Dakshinamurthy, who is bestowing us with this Brahma Vidya. Om Tat Sat.
Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. In the second verse of Dakshinamurti Slogam, Adi Shankara unfolds the glory of Ishvara denoted by Padam Tat. When we look around us, we see highly ordered universe. There is so much precision and beauty involved. We see all 14 logas, time, space, and also seasons are changing in a cyclic way. Satellites are moving in an orbit in an orderly way. At macro level, Srishti, Sthiti, Laya are happening in a cyclic form, eternally. In micro level, for Jivas, Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti Avastha are happening in a cyclic way. This constant cyclic nature of Jagat is called Sanadanam. So, by Vedanta Shravanam, we conclude that Ishvara is both Nimitta and Upadana Karanam of this Jagat described above. In the first verse of first line of this loga, Adi Shankara analyzed the creation topic with an example of sprout and seed. We know by law of conservation of mass, Matter is neither created nor destroyed. Like a butter exists in the milk in a potential form or in unmanifested form. By modification, butter is manifested from milk. This law holds good for creation also. So the creation of Jagat is nothing but a transformation from avyaktam to vyaktam. And during pralaya, vyaktam to avyaktam. That is punaha means round and round. Adi Shankara explains this with an example. Bijasya antaga ankura iva. The sprout potentially exists in the seed. Here, universe is comparable to sprout and the Ishvara is comparable to Bijam seed. So, idam jagat means thus the jagat exists in Ishvara in nirvikalpa rupena or in unmanifested form or seed-like form before creation. We can understand this like a DNA of a particular tree is inside the particular tree. In the same way, the Karana Sariram of all Jivas in causal state will be inside the Ishvara during Pralaya. The second line of this verse explains the Upadana Karanam or material cause of Ishvara. How the Jagat manifests in plurality during Srishti, we will see. By Ishvara Sangalpam, creation takes place. The Maya Shakti of Ishvara creates time and space. So, this Maya Shakti is called material cause of Jagat. On the canvas of the time and space, the whole jivas are multiplied and diversified to exhaust their karma palam. Vaichitya Chitri Kridam, the Adi Shankara is telling. So, we can see Maya Shakti projects Ekam Brahmam in many Nama Rupa Jiva by his Viksheba Sakti and veils Brahman. Thus, we can appreciate that Jagat is Mithya depends on Satyam Brahman. Therefore, multiplication is caused by Desha Kala. Thus, the multiplication and diversification is caused by Desha Kala. Remove the time and space, we can perceive Ekam Brahman. This happens in our deep sleep. There is no time and space in deep sleep. But due to our ignorance, we are not realizing that our true nature is Brahman. Now, in the third line, Adi Shankara says, Vijrumpa Yatyavi, that he wants to point out that Ishvara is also the intelligent cause of this Jagat. Adi Shankara explains this by the example of magician and Mahayogi. We can see the magician with his own magic power without any raw material materializes so many things like flower, hair, cat, etc. Like this, Mahayogi with his yogic power materialize so many things. So here, Adi Shankara compares Ishvara to magician and Mahayogi. By his own intelligent power, he creates the Jagat. Thus, Adi Shankara has established in this verse that Ishvara is Nimitta and Upadana Karanam of this Jagat. At the end, Adi Shankara offers his namaskaram to Lord Dakshinamurthy, who is in the form of our own Guru, Om Tat Sat. I want to recite this second verse. Bijasyantarivānkuro jagatitam prāṅnirvikalpam punaga maya kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitya chitrikritam maya viva vijrumbayatyabimaga yogi vayasvechaya तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये ओम तत्सत्
Niharika?
Shri Gurubhyo Namaः. यस्यैव स्फुरणं सदात्मकम् असत्कल्पार्थकं भासते साक्षात् तत्त्वमसीति वेदवचसा यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् यः साक्षात् करणाद् भवेन पुनरावृत्तिर्भवाम्भोनिधौ तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदम् Sri Dakshinamurthaye. So, in this verse, Shankaracharya brings out the Mahavakya of the Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. So, the word Tat indicates Paramatma and the word Tvam indicates the Jivatma and the word Asi indicates the Aikyam. So, here the essence of this verse is Jivatma, Paramatma, Aikyam. So what we shall do is, we'll go from bottom to top approach for a better understanding and then we'll summarize. So Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurthaye. So Idam, this salutation Namaha is unto that Tasmai who imparts the knowledge. What knowledge? The Tattvamasi knowledge. It's a direct knowledge, aparoksha jnanam. That is, you are non-separate from the Lord, the Jiva Ishvara Aikyam knowledge, who is in the form of my Guru, Shri Guru Murtaye. That is, who is in the form of my Guru as well as in the form of Dakshina Murti. So that is the Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshina Murtaye. Next. Yes sakshat karanat bhavena punaravritthir bhavam bhonidau. So, what is the benefit of getting this Tattvamasi knowledge? The benefit is this knowledge one gains, then there is no need of coming back. Where? Coming back to what? That is, you can get rid of the cycle of births and deaths. Punaravritthir bhavam bhonidau. Ambha means ocean, this ocean of samsara. You don't have to come back. So this samsara, you can get rid of it. So Adi Shankaracharya is giving an assurance that there is no need of this repeated coming back. This will not happen. So if we realize this, Mahavakya. Next is Sakshat Tattvamasi Veda Vachasa Yo Bodhaya Shritan. So unless the Guru, he explains, then we will not understand the truth. The Guru teaches the true knowledge to those who have taken shelter in him. So he initiates them into the Jnana Marga. So from where? By quoting the words of Vedas, Veda Vachasa. So Guru is using the Sakshat Tattvamasi. Okay, you are not different. Tat. You are not different from the Lord Jivatma, Paramatma, Aikyam. So when the Guru says Tattvamasi, then when we understand this Tattvamasi, then we should say I am Atma or Aham Brahmasmi. We are all familiar with the 4 Mahavakyas. Just to reiterate, Prajnanam Brahma from Maitreya Upanishad and I am Atma Brahma from Mandukya Upanishad, Tattvamasi, Chandogya Upanishad and Aham Brahmasmi. This is from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Now, next is, so before attaining this Jnanam, what I was thinking, I am Niharika with this body mind. But when the Guru unfolds this teaching, the qualified Guru to the qualified discipline, that is, if the Sishya has the Adhikaritvam, Dakshinamurti unfolded this Mahavakya to Sanaka Rishis. But those mumukshus who seek refuge under the Guru, then the Guru unfolds this Mahavakya. And so after this Jnanam, then we realize that I am this pure Sachidatma. Okay. So now coming to the very first sentence. So That is yasyaiva spuranam sadatmakam asat kalpardhakam bhasate. Spuranam means here self-revealing, self-evident. Sat atmakam, that is Sat. Sat atmakam, that is the Paramatma, which is the underlying substratum, is evident in the form of the Namarupa through this Mithya Jagat. So from the first verse, we know that Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. So now what we need to understand or break down is evident. The chair is evident to me. The objects which are in front of me, they are evident. So Paramatma lends, the conscious principle, it lends essentials. So that is how my body mind conscious, the body mind complex, I'm able to recognize the objects. So this conscious principle and the pure existence principle, that is what we see around this jagat, this is, you cannot the jagat is unreal. Why? Because it is constantly changing, and the existence here, that is the Paramatma, is lending the sentience to the Jagat. So the Paramatma is persisting or pervading everywhere in the form of Sat. So that existence is manifest in the medium of this unreal Jagat. Okay. So now here Tat Padartha and the Tvam Padartha. So this here is the equation. So the pure consciousness is equivalent to the pure existence. When we understand this, then this is the Tattvamasi Mahavakya, and this is the Bhagatyaga Lakshana. And when from this unreal world, if we remove the Nama Rupa form, then what we have is the pure existence. And here, when we understand that we are not this body, then the consciousness which is within me and which is in you all, it is the same. That is the pure consciousness. So that this Tattvamasi, this is the equation. Om Tat Sat.
Dr. Padma.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. The fourth shloka of Dakshinamurthy Stotram. I will be chanting first. Nana Chidra Gatodhara Sthita Mahadeepa Prabhabhaswaram Jnanam Yasya Tu Chakshuraadhikaranad Dwara Bahi Spandate Janamiti Tameva Bhantam Anubhatye Tat Samastam Jagat Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Sri Shankara uses a very profound metaphor or dishtant as a beautiful imagery explains and compares a great lamp or the Mahadeepa refers to consciousness or Atma Jyoti, which is kept inside an inverted pot with many holes and the shining beams of light streaming through those 5 holes representing 5 sense organs of eyes, ears, nostril, tongue, and skin. In this verse, Jnanam refers to consciousness, and this Mahadeep has a different perspective kept in the belly of a pot. This Jyotisham Jyotishi illuminates things in the path of those light shafts coming out of the pot in the same way as your eye, but not things behind you or outside these shafts, which remain in darkness, not in the scope of beams of light. These data reporters or Gnanindriyanis or sense organs pick up data, and Karmindriyanis act as per planning by the mind for execution by this data exchange by Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, and brings it back to us as Ritti or thought. The beams of light beaming our eyes or ears out of our leaving our eyes or ears out of our senses, going out in the world, contacting sense objects, and returning the knowledge of sense objects to us is the concept of sense perception. Atma Jyoti illumines everything, experiencer and experienced, witnessing awareness, making the mind sentient, illumines the sense organs, and sense organs illumine the world, meaning eyes function because of the mind, and mind functions because of Atma Jyoti, like UPS. Though medically, image falls on the retina through optic nerve, being a different scientific version. Also in Bhagavad Gita, Navadvara Pure Dehi, quoted 3 below and 5 above, the Atma Jyoti, not doing anything, observing but relaxed, sitting in this 9 gated body, is a complete kind of example, the same type of the perforated holes, saying that this Atma Jyoti is the light or consciousness. The light of consciousness is extraordinary as it is present simultaneously in every living being, behind thoughts of everyone, hence called Mahadeep. Though same consciousness illumines two individuals and their thoughts, but thoughts belong to the mind. Mind is totally distinct. Hence, one person's thoughts or mind are not known to the other. Thank Bhagwan, as it is difficult to deal with one's own thoughts. Imagine dealing with another's thoughts. Consciousness is the one that, in the form of Sri Dakshinamurthy alone, shines, and this entire world, Anubhati, means shines after. Sun has its own light, self-effulgent Bhati, but moon and stars have borrowed or reflected light received from the sun. This very profound teaching is quoted in reference in Kathopanishad and in Mundaka Upanishad and in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 15, Purushottama Yoga, verse 6. The entire universe is illumined, made manifest as without sun or moon or stars shining. That consciousness alone shines. Sri Raman Maharshi says, I is Ishwarized, and the small I is devoid of ego, raga, dvesha. But for role playing, vyavaharika, that I is required, the small I. Puja Swamiji says, I is a real villain in Vedanta for ego, and only when by Viveka Vairagya one can cut off raga, dvesha, mind can make hell out of heaven, otherwise, and heaven out of hell. So be kind to the mind. I Ishwarized is moksha, Swamiji says. The silence between two Om in meditation is awareness constant. In Arati Mantra, that camphor light removes darkness or ignorance, revealing the form of the Lord or truth, meaning dispels darkness about the Lord to let light of the Lord or the knowledge of the Lord stay with us, protect us, and bless us. We are using this flame to light up our buddhi. The first 4 shlokas are Shravanam, meaning listening to the Guru. This salutation is unto that consciousness that alone shines, illumining the entire cosmos, who is in the form of Guru, Sri Guru Murtiye, as well as in the form of Sri Dakshinamurti. Om Tat Sat.
Lata,
Yes, yes, ma'am. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. I'll start with verse 5. I'll chant it first. Deham pranam apindriyana
make it little louder, Lata. Voice, little louder.
Is it okay?
Yes, yeah.
Deham pranamapindriyanaya pichalam buddhim cha shunyam viduh स्त्रीबालान्दजडोपमास्तवमिति भ्रान्ता वृषमवादिनः मायाशक्तिविलासकल्पितमहा व्यामोहसंहारिणे तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदम् Shri Dakshinamurtaye. So from verse 5 onwards, the Mananam stage begins. Now, this verse shows that there is a confusion regarding the identity of the self or Atman with Deham, Pranam, Indriyam by people of different school of thoughts or philosophies, or just because of delusions. Now, the erroneous conclusions are that Deham or the physical body is Atma. Now, this view is common among the materialistic people or the Charuvakyas, which means the sweet talkers. They believe that as we live only once, we should enjoy life and do everything that is centered around the body. However, Deham cannot be taken as Atma as it undergoes a changes with time, it is visible, it is time bound, it is a Drishya Vastu. The second belief is that prana, the vital sheath, is Atma. Now, people who believe this, they pursue pranayama for hours because they believe that that prana is the Atma. However, prana is also subject to changes at different times in a day and hence cannot be taken as Atma. Our Indriyanis, there is another group which believes that our Indriyanis are the Atma. Now, in Indriyanis, we will also include mind. They believe that only their senses show or are they are basically ruled by their senses. Now, we use our sense organs to perceive the world, and which also undergoes a change when the situation is different. Now comes the Chalam Buddhim. Chalam Buddhim means intellect. Now they think that they are the Vijnanamaya Kosha. They have the power to take decisions, to think, etc. So they think that Atma is Buddhi. However, all this can be observed and it is a Drishya Vastu. Hence, this belief is also refuted. Now come the Shunyavadis who believe that Atma is Shunya or nothing. Now, many of the philosophers who believe this happen to follow the Buddhist philosophy. They believe that in the sleep state, the sense organs are all wrapped up and there is no experience. And so there is nothing or void, which they believe is Atma. But we need to ask who is experiencing the Shunya. The negator of the world cannot be negated, as the experiencer of the Shunya is there. Hence, this philosophy is also disproved. Now, the verse states that those who hold these views, that the self is the body, the vital breath, the senses, the intellect, or the void, are Bhranta Brahmavadina, which means that they are greatly deluded and they are vehemently arguing on this point. Now, who are these Bhranta Brahmavadinas? First, is people with three kind of buddhi of feminine qualities, which is emotional and which has a lot of attachment towards the world. Second is the immature people who behave like a bala or child. Third is the people who lack discrimination or viveka and those who cannot accept the Shastra Pramana. They are referred as Andha. Jadopama, which is the tamasic people who have a very closed mind and who refuse to understand the ultimate truth. Now, why do they have the Brahma? This delusion is because of the Maya Shakti. It is because of the ignorance due to the Maya, we are unable to understand the true nature of Atman. The sole cause of all the problems that exist is, that exists is due to ignorance. So though we are aware that every person is divine, however, the divine person also sometimes can do certain adharma activities. This is only because of ignorance. So the ignorance to recognize the own divinity of self, which is Satchit Ananda Atma, leads to suffering. Now, who will destroy this delusion? So this delusion is destroyed by the Guru, who helps and guides us to remove the veil of ignorance and provides us with the true knowledge of self. And hence, this verse talks about our salutations to Dakshinamurthy, who in the form of Guru is helping us to attain that ultimate knowledge. Om Tat Sat.
Gayatri Nath.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Verse 6. राहुग्रस्त दिवाकरेन्द्र सदृशो माया समाचाधनात् सन्मात्र कर्णोपसंहरणतो यो भूत्सु सुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागस्वापसमिति प्रबोध समये यः प्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् Dakshinamurthy. This is shloka number 6. Grahanam. Adi Shankaracharya takes an example to give the knowledge. As we have learned from in the Dakshinamurthy, that world is experienced in mind, and mind is lighted up by Atma Jyoti, and that Atma Jyoti is our true essential nature. In verse 6 of Dakshinamurthy Stotram, Adi Shankaracharya, after negating the beliefs that gross body is Atma, Prana is Atma, Indriyani is Atma, Vijnanamaya Kosha is Atma, he further explains to negate Atma is Shunya. Acharya explains by mentioning few examples. When Rahu covers or shadows sun or moon, that is when there is an eclipse, solar eclipse or lunar eclipse, shadow of the earth falls on moon or sun. Yet the brilliance of sun exists. The mere shadow does not cover. It is a temporary obstruction of vision, or it appears as though blanketed or covered by Maya. The vision is eclipsed, but not the existence of moon or sun. Similarly, when a person is in Shushupti Avastha, that is deep sleep, there is a withdrawal of all senses, mind is switched off, gross body is not active, he is unattached in this state and goes into unmanifest state. The condition here is Sanmatra. He exists as pure existence. There is an influence of Maya, the tamas guna aspect of Maya. Then after a good sleep of few hours, the person says, I slept well. This he recollects it in waking state. When deep sleep experience is happening, will I be there to experience it? The answer is yes. Therefore, I say I slept well. When I wake up, the fact that experience has taken place, which I did not know, but was happening unconsciously in an unmanifested way. When I wake up, I recollect and I say I slept well, meaning the experiencer was there, shadow was there, ego was there, and Atma Jyoti was there. All along that Atma Jyoti is present in three avasthas is proved. Therefore, Shunyadivadi is Atma is falsified and negated by Sri Adi Shankaracharya. In reality, a person who awakens to the consciousness of self recognizes his previous state of ignorance as unreal. He, by whose grace of Guru and Atma Jyoti, awakens to consciousness of self. To that Dakshinamurthy, who is embodied in auspicious Guru, I offer my salutations. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Lakshmi Devaki.
Yeah. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. I'm doing the 7th verse. I'll recite the verse first. बाल्यादिष्वपि जाग्रदादिषु तथा सर्वास्ववस्थास्वपि व्यावृत्तास्वनुवर्तमानमहन्नित्यन्तः स्फुरन्तं सदा स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम् Shri Dakshinamurtaye. In the 6th verse, Acharya explains the presence of consciousness even in the deep sleep state, that is the Sushupti state, and the recognition of that consciousness on waking up. So, there are other states as well, like the Jagriti and the Swapna Avasthas. Also, there are other states of experiences like the Balyadishu and Kaumaram, Yavvanam, and the Vruddhapyam. In all these different states of experiences, that is the Sarva Avasthasvapi, there is one thing which persists, which is unchanging, which is continuously shining within. That is the true self-consciousness. That is the Satvastu. It was, it is, and it continues to be there. Krishna in chapter 7 of the Bhagavad Gita, 7th verse, he talks about Sutre Manigana Iva. That is, the beads are strung onto are strung onto a string. The flowers are strung onto the string. But the next day, what happens is, we see that the flowers are faded, but the string continues to be there. In the same way, in the different avasthas, in the different states of experiences, the Atma continues to be there. It's like a movie which is projected on the screen. The movie could be a chick flick, it could be a rom-com, it could be a, what I can say, tragic movie or anything. But the screen on which the movie is projected is the same. It doesn't change. The movie changes. The movie is the variable, and the screen on which the movie is projected is the constant, which is the constant invariable. So this constant invariable is the Sakshi, which knows the mind and our experiences now and as well as when we were in our Balyadishu. The body may change, the mind may change, but you are the same person. What persists in you as a 1 month old and what persists in you now is that consciousness. That is Anuvrittamana. That is change. And that is your true self. That is your real self. Dakshinamurthy in the form of a guru does prakati karoti. That is, if he does the prakatanam. Prakatanam is the unfolds. He unfolds or he reveals what is Svatmanam, one's own Swarupa. This he does in the form of the Chinmudra. In the Chinmudra, which is this, the thumb stands for the Paramatma, the index finger stands for the Jivatma, and the other 3 fingers stands for the Trigunas or the states of mind. When this Jivatma bends down and comes and joins the Paramatma, a circle is formed. That is the Purnatvam. That is the goal. That is what we have to strive. That is what he talks about in this 7th verse. And he pays salutations to the Guru for giving us this knowledge. Om Tat Sat.
Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Can I be heard?
Yeah, you're heard.
Okay. One second. Vishwam pashyati karya karanataya swaswami sambandataha shishyacharya tataiva pitruputrat atmana bedataha swapne jagrati vaya yesha purusho maya paribhramitaha tasmai shri gurumurtaye nama idam shri dakshinamurtaye. Hari Om, Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I start with my salutations and bow to the ever-tranquil Dakshinamurthy and also to my teacher, who is no different to free us from the turbulence of the three worlds, Akara, Ukara, and Makara, the Om Pranava. The Chaitanya only is the Brahman, who is the embodiment of Jnana, and that no one can own anything. The Tvam Padam is like manifesting outside the Brahma Tattvam and Jagat Mithya. There are two examples, one being the mirror, Darpana, and the other is the Nidra, dream. Here the Vishwam is like a reflection of the city in the whole world, the universe in the mirror, which explains the world of taste, touch, hear, see, and smell, the five sense organs that keep changing constantly in the world. Atma is Satyam and exists independently, and Anatma, the body and mind, is Mithya, that appears and disappears, which is equal to the reflection of the mirror world. The main theme of this Stotram is that the universe is the manifestation of the one supreme consciousness, Brahman. Through profound silence and symbolic gesture, the youth guru awakens self-knowledge and dissolves the cycle of birth and death for his disciples. The silent method of teaching dispels all doubts and ignorance. The Advaita philosophy emphasizes the oneness of the individual soul, Atman, and the ultimate reality, Brahman. Dakshinamurthy is the source of knowledge and the one who cures the diseases of worldly life, samsara, and ignorance. World is Nija Antargatam. Atma lights up the mind. Atma is true nature. The more clarity is when we ask ourselves, who am I? We are Tattvamasi Sakshat Kriti, the one who perceives true nature by the grace of the Guru in non-dual, indivisible Atma. That is, at the waking to the higher Atman unto the Dakshinamurti. Nivriti Dharma is Atma Dharma. The phrase Tattvamasi Sakshat Kriti also means personal realization or experience of the great saying Tattvamasi. You are that. The truth that one's own self is identical to the supreme reality, Brahman. In Vedanta, this realization is the ultimate spiritual goal leading to moksha. Vedanta is from inside out. The mind gives reality to the world. Mithya is impermanent. The Jagat keeps changing in all three stages of Tvam-padam, Tat-padam, and Asipadam. The intelligence of Ishvara manifests in everything, and we ourselves are the witness to whatever is happening. Ishvara is the Mahayogi, the Mayavi. He is Nirguna Parabrahma, who effortlessly withdraws and releases again and again. He is endowed with Maya Shakti. The radiance and the light of Parabrahma eternally shines through the unreal Jagat world of Nitya. The one who teaches Tattvamasi, Atma Brahma, is real that pervades the Jagat, the causeless cause manifested by Parabrahma. There will not be Punarjanmam if one has Paramajnanam because of the understanding of the Guru. Punaravrati will not be there. The main Vakya Vichara is Tattvamasi. The Jnanendriya stream through the pores of the body, identifying the objects, and Atma Jyoti illumines everything. The true nature is Chit, and the whole world is illumined through the Karanas. We cannot perceive Atma, and Deham cannot be Atma as it is observed. Ishwarization of the I happens through Viveka and Vairagya. I am are deluded Brantas that is projected by Avidya Maya Shakti. The whole world depends on Tattvamasi, that is Sat Chit Anandam Brahma, which is our nature, and the being exists in all three states. The easiness Atma cannot be Shunyam. Sushupti in deep sleep is good for health, and Anandam is the non-negatable Satyam, and Chit is the sentient mind. He, the Purusha, with confused thoughts in Maya, sees in himself the world of cause-effect related as possessor and possession, father and son, and as the teacher and taught, both in the state of waking and of dreaming, And to him, the divine teacher, Sri Dakshinamurthy, is this prostration. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Rekha.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. I'll chant the 9th verse. Bhuram bhasvanalo nilombharamahar nato himamshuv puman ityabhati characharatmakamidam yasyaiva murtyashtakam nanyat kinchana vidyate vimrishatam yasmat parasmat vibhoः तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये. The Dakshinamurti Stotram reveals to us the only self-illuminating Paramatma and proves us that though from the standpoint of Vyavaharika Satyam, there is a plurality, but from the standpoint of Paramarthika Satyam, there is only one and only Nitya Satyam. The text explains Tat Padam through the examples, Tvam Padam through the examples in the first verse. Furthermore, in the following verses, it asks us to reflect how our thoughts, feelings, experiences are ever changing from childhood to old age. To understand Tvam, one can only, to understand Tat, one can only marvel at the intelligence of Ishvara and the order of the eternal cycle of manifest and unmanifest. Ishvara alone is Jagat Karana. And now for the Asipadam, when one looks around to decipher the ultimate cause of all, it is the only causeless one. The Swaprakash Atma is the only Nityavastu which is all pervading. It is the only truth which one cannot deny. With constant Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, one experiences the entire Jagat in oneself. The verse 9 speaks about how one can see the clay in the pot or the gold in the ornaments. It explains the vision of a Jnani. Brahman is expressed as an eightfold form. The 5 elements, earth, bhu, water, ambasi, fire, anala, air, anila, space, ambaram, sun, aharnath, moon, himanshu, and the 8th, the jiva endowed with consciousness. The physical form of Dakshinamurti, again, in the deity, it has one hand as a torch, which represents Agni. One has Damru, which represents space. The hairband for air. The Ganga water from the head. On the left side of the head, there is moon. On the right side, the sun. And the entire Murti, which is made of metal, represents the earth. And there is a smiling little demon Apasmara, which stands for Rajas and Tamas. Now, if one has grasped the concept of Tattvamasi Vichara through this text, one naturally transcends from Ekamurti Upasana to the Ashtamurti Upasana. One views the entire Vishwa as a cosmic temple and shifts from Vishwarupa Darshanam to Arupa Darshanam. The whole universe appears in 8 form and the Upasana is Purnam, just like the Chinna Mudra. To meditate this way is a panacea for Bhavaroga, and to follow it is Nivriti Marga. And to some of us, maybe someone like me who is not really who is yet to grasp the entire concept, maybe I should just go to the Shed Sampati and again have some complete Shraddha on the scriptures and the Guru, and surely one day Dakshinamurti will bless me with his grace and shine through. Thank you so much. That's
Finally, Uma. Okay.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Amma. Namaskaram. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye. Mahyam Shriyam Medham Pragyam Prayacha Swaha. Lord Dakshinamurti symbolizes Jiva Ishwar Aikyam and Atma Jnanam through the Chinmudra, that is Jnana Mudra of Purnatvam. Worshipping Dakshinamurti and learning this Moksha Sastra, Dakshinamurti Stotram lead to removal of Moola Avidya, spiritual liberation and self-realization. From the Bala stage to Jnani stage, the body, mind, world-centered vision, we are coming to Ishvara-centered vision. Last sloka of the Dakshinamurti, verse number 10, is Palashruti. Sarvatmattvamiti sputikritamitam yasmadamushmin stave tenasya shravanat tadartamananat dhyanascha sankirtanat sarvatmatva vibhudi sahitam Shadishwaratvam swataha siddhyet tat punarashtata parinatam chaishwaryam avyahatam. Essential vision of the verse. Last sloka of the Dakshinamurti is Parashruti, presenting for the Mumukshu, not for the worldly pointing of the seekers. Mumukshu is not seeking a finite goal. Mumukshu goal is moksha. Mentioned here is Sarvatma Bhavana. Sarvatmatva means self-knowledge. Here, Atma is pure. Example, Atma of a Rishihi, Atma of a elephant, Nitya Shuddha Bhukta Mukta Swarupaha. That is called Sarvatma. The 10th verse gradually leads the Mumukshu from the understanding the nature of the three states, the role of Maya, the need of Viveka, the importance of Guru, Shastra, Upadesha, towards the central vision of Sarva Atmatvam. The earliest verses are about Moha Nivarti, clarification of Tattvajnanam, and Antakarana Shuddhi. The final verse, the Palashruti, summarizes the ultimate benefit, the discovery of one's own nature as Ishvara, complete with inner mastery. Sarva Atmatvam means pure self-knowledge. Sputikritam means made very clear. If you chant this Stotram with clear meaning, definitely moksha is there in the form of Sarva Atmatvam. Tena asya shravanat tadartha mananat dhyanacha sankirtanat. We will get it by the triple sadhana of Jnana Yoga, that is Shravanam, Mananam, Nidithyasana. After Shravanam of this Dakshinamurti Stotram, you do Mananam. You reflect the meaning constantly, dwell upon the meaning and raising your doubts, discuss and share with others, and do Nidityasanam. Here is Nidityasanam is Dhyanam here, is contemplation. Sankirtanas is chanting of the Stotram is very powerful. It connects us to the meaning one day. But by that Shravanam, Mananam, Nidityasanam, we will attain Sarva Atmatvam, that is moksha. Moksha is really understanding of who I really am. The truth of Jagat and Ishvara is one Atma. That is the Sarvatma Bhavana. What is Shravanam? Shravanam means listening to the teaching. One must listen to the unfoldment of the Shastras for the length of the time with the Brahma, with Atma Tattvam. From the Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru or Acharya with unwavering Shraddha. Because the minds are so conditioned with the vasanas and habitual patterns, only repeated exposure breaks up the deep-seated conditioning of an ordinary jiva, allowing the teaching to penetrate. The Sanatkumaras has purely unconditional mind. They want only Nivarti Marga, no Pravarti Marga. The Upadesha sink into them just by the Chinmudra. Mananam, reflective enquiry. After Shravanam, one must engage in active Mananam, which includes constant Chintanam, reflecting upon the teaching, revisiting what the Guru explained, clarifying doubts, internally resolving contradictory notions. This reflective habit strengthens conviction and removes intellectual obstacles. For example, after the Viveka Chudamani class, we have the Chintanam of the slokas all the time and reflects upon it. That is called active Mananam. Then Dhyanam, that is Nidityasanam, is the taking time to contemplate upon it. Nididhyasanam can only happen after our doubts are cleared. Atma is clear when we will do the meditation upon it. That is dhyanam. Sarvatmatvam maha vibhudi sahitam sadishwaram tvam swataha. Ishwaratvam, that is, you will know the God worshipping externally is you. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, you are the God that you are worshipping externally. That is Eka Rupa Bhakti, Aneka Rupa Bhakti. Now it is Arupa Bhakti. You have discovered your true nature, that is Atma Tattvam. Sarvatmatvam is Mahavibhuti. It is not ordinary achievement. That's why moksha pursuit is Parama Purushartha. That is the ultimate goal of the life. This Palasruti is for Mumukshu. This some more Ashtasiddhi Palami is for Mumukshu. So what is the Palam for the Mumukshu? Ishwaratvam and Aishwaryam. Another Palam is Ashta Aishwaryam. That is called Ashtama Siddhi. The eightfold sovereignty. Ashtama Siddhi are Garima, Mahima, Lakima, like Hanumanji, Yogis, Siddha Purushas. They will enter into the body and coming and going into the body with Maya Shakti. But Mumukshus is not doing any miracles. Mumukshus want only Sarvatmatvam is guaranteed. The 9th sloka is talking about the Aneka Rupa Upasana, that is Vishwarupa Darsanam. That brings us to the Palashruti that Atma Eva Ishwaraha. The limitless, all-pervading Ishwara is none other than my own Atma. All that is here is Ishwara. Om Tat Sat. Dhanyavadah.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. So it was really good to revisit these profound verses of Dakshinamurthy Stotram, and this time through the eyes of all the students. And each one of you were able to really compact the gist of the verse, and that too in just 5 minutes, and which is not an ordinary achievement. And especially the new students, like Lakshmi, Lata, and Rekha, their chanting was beautiful, perfect, flawless, and they are to be appreciated for their courage and confidence to speak, in a public, platform. So this is the beauty and power of Mananam, Now none of you are going to forget the verse allocated. And I agree that verse 1 and verse 3 are probably the tricky verses. Yeah, and yet you managed it really well with Rishtantas. So the beauty of Mananam is, it goes very deep inside us. Yeah, so that is why Mananam is called the Samshaya Nivritti stage. So because you had to prepare and you must have, listened to the audio so many times and then written all your notes, to present it. So you have to be thorough, and that way you reinforce the knowledge that you gained the first time, when you're listening to the first time. So I hope the Mananam will continue, not only for Dakshinamurthy, but also other texts, Viveka Chudamani, Panchadashi, So when the class is over, then we have to follow it up with Mananam. So thank you all for the really enjoyable Mananam presentations, all stuck to the time limit, and we could complete within a good hour. So I invoke the grace of Lord Dakshinamurthy to bless us all with that wonderful Palashruti, Sarvatma Bhava, and which is the fulfillment of this precious human birth. Om Tat Sat. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.